This is me building a personal finance community in public, Dollar Discipline University. Okay, a little thought at the end of this. The whole point of this is to really build Dollar Discipline University in public. This is my free personal finance community. And to be quite honest, my goal is to help 1 million households with their personal finances. So the best way to do that is to build this community in absolute public. So let's first go to the YouTube comments, and womp womp, there are no comments yet. I just refreshed. Wait, let me see. Okay, yep, no comments. So yeah, this whole new daily series that I'm doing is very, very new. So what I want you to do is any one of my YouTube videos, if you have a question, a thought, a concern about your personal finances, leave it on the video. And then these live streams, I'm going to be going through each of these questions every single day. I'm going to be going live basically every night before I go to bed. So this one is checked for now. The community activity. So let's go to Dollar Discipline University and talk about the things that happened today. So the reason why I am kind of doing this daily series, because yesterday I made a post. I have this, we have this weekly post in here. Sometimes I send it, sometimes community members create it. And basically, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I was trying to challenge the community to think like, okay, what things can you track every single day this week, or like kind of look at, right? So the examples I gave, and I'll do that over here, were if you're trying to save more money, look at your bank account daily. If you're trying to pay off debt faster, look at your debts owed daily. Or if it's like if it's a thing unrelated to finance, maybe fitness, like look at your weight, calorie sets, etc. Obviously, only doing those things will not get you your desired result. And I promise I'm not going to be reading this entire thing. But in my experience, we would be better served thinking less about the outcome of the goal and more on the inputs to get us to that goal. Okay, so I created this whole thing. I was like, oh, this is great. I think it's really going to be helpful. And I hit post. And for me, I was just like, well, this is great and all, but what can I do personally? Like, I didn't really put my 2 cents into like what I was going to be doing. So I thought about it for hours, and I was like, truthfully, if I want, I have to start thinking about not the output of maybe this community, but what inputs can I do to sort of make the output happen? So when I thought about it more, I was like, okay, the 3 things kind of that I really want to happen with this community are for you watching this video, if you're in the community, to reach your financial goals faster. For new people that haven't joined the community, if you're one of those, the link is down in the description of this live stream. For new people to discover this amazing community. And of course, I'm very biased about that. And then obviously, for full transparency, I have a 9-to-5 job still, and I want to quit that thing. And I want to be able to provide so much value in the personal finance space that I'm able to quit, and I'm able to I genuinely want to help everyone as much as I can. And obviously, this is going to be a business, right? So I want to create so much value that people can join this community for free, which it's completely free, and not pay me a dime and still reach their goals. Okay. So the people that would pay me in here are people that, whatever, want to maybe move things a little faster or have more close time with me, whatever. But that's kind of the goal of why I'm doing this and this little post here. And of course, we got a little Will Ferrell GIF happening down here. Excellent. Amazing. So that's that post. And then community member Jacob in here. So speaking of a daily commitment, I didn't even tell him to do this, which was pretty great. But if we type in quote of the day, he's been doing this quote of the day thing in here. Okay, so it's a little garbled, but we have day 1, day 2's down here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he's on day 5, and he posted another one today, which is really cool. So what he basically does here is he just finds quotes and basically has people try and pick like, hey, which one's your favorite? So I haven't done this today. Let me take a look here. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Brave man is not who does not conquer fear. Okay. I totally butchered that one. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Even if you're on the right track, you get stuck and you sit there. Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't know. This is tough. Okay. Yeah, I would say this one. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Boom. Excellent. Oh, look at that. We've got 3 different votes here. Cool. Um, so yeah, just a quick update on. Today, this is Wednesday. Sorry, Tuesday, August 12th. And I also want to talk about some events that we have in the community as well. So every other week, we have this thing called Finances Friday, and basically it's just a call where you jump on the call. There's no agenda. This is not going to be me yapping up here or giving some sort of lecture, or nothing's going to be happening. It's just jumping on the call and then doing accountability stuff. So think like a study hall for adults. So you jump on. It's like, oh man, I really gotta. I never set aside time for my budget. I really need to start doing that, or I, could pay some bills, or I could just have a broader thought process around my finances because I never actually sit down and think about anything with that. I just more do. And then at the end of the month, it's like, oh man, where's my money? And I can relate to that 1000%. And that's why I created this. The people that have joined the last, there's been 2 so far, have thoroughly enjoyed them. So that's going to be this Friday, depending on when you're watching it, the 15th. And we do that every other Friday, so you can see that here. And there's other events on the calendar. I don't want to talk about all the events every single day because that would be boring. Because again, I'm making these live streams every single day. So let's go back to our form here. So YouTube comments. Anything? Anything? No. Community activities. So we talked about that for today. And then the reason why you clicked on this video, at the end of all of these, I'm going to just add sort of some extra thoughts that I have on my mind. Based on things that I'm seeing or hearing or reading in my community, and just kind of elsewhere, just kind of getting a vibe. So I wanted to talk about the real reason why you can't save more money. And that sounds, it sounds more mean than what I am intending for it to sound like. But more or less, there's a couple reasons why I think a lot of people struggle to save more money. After speaking to literally dozens of people regarding their personal finances. And this might not be a popular thing to say, but I think we need to focus more on the habits than the dollars. And you're like, Chris, that doesn't make any sense. I need to save dollars to have dollars, right? I think the dollars are almost irrelevant if you are just starting saving money. Maybe you're like not where you want to be, and you have this like outcome. This kind of goes back to the inputs outputs thing. It's like your output, you want to have all this money saved, right? But the inputs, it's like, what are we doing on an input level? Like, what are we doing every day, week, month to reach our output? So we really have to think more about that. So I think just building a consistent habit of saving is more important than trying to save money. And that, I can see why that doesn't make sense, right? But I think people are they're caught up in their head. I think part of it is actually when people do research around like emergency funds, for example. You could search right now. You could do, hey, how much money should I have in my emergency fund? You could ask ChatGPT. You could ask whatever. They're pretty much all going to tell you, hey, all experts say that you should have 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses in your emergency fund, and that's a proper emergency fund. And while that's good advice for sure, I think it's very intimidating for people once they look at their expenses and they see like, wow, I spend, let's say you spend $3,000 a month on life. So you're like, wow, I need to save $9,000 to $18,000. And it's like, that's super intimidating. It's like, well, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. How am I even going to do that? And then you just get overwhelmed. And that's why people don't do it. There was a stat recently where just over 50% of people basically didn't have enough cash to pay for a $1,000 emergency. So just think about that. Like, first of all, if you feel like you're behind, just think about that. And I don't want you to compare yourself to like, the bottom per se, but like if you have something, just realize that over half of the United States they don't have $1,000. So just start thinking like that. And it's like, okay, what habits can I build to sort of create this? People that I work with that don't have any savings and would like to, what I recommend is I challenge them Again, this is for people that have no savings. I challenge them, hey, how can you save $100 this month? How can you get paid? Say, let's say you're biweekly or weekly, whatever the case is, and you instantly take out money. Like you get paid and you just instantly shove money somewhere else. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, you take $50 out of your paycheck instantly. If you get paid weekly, you take $25 out of your paycheck instantly. Okay. You move it somewhere else. And at the end of the month, you have $100. And what that does is it sort of pulls forward your financial goals, in this case, saving money, ahead of other things in your life. So you really have to ask yourself, is that trade-off worth it? Right? Because we can't sit there and say, oh, I don't have enough money to save, but then not wanting to take that as like the first in line. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like, ooh, but like I had these bills or these groceries or whatever, these fun things, right? And it's like, well, no, like that's why you have to align everything. What are your North Star goals? So if you actually want to save more money, and this works for paying off debt too, right? You could just put aside money for paying off debt or whatever the financial goal is. But I'm just sort of using save money as like the example here. So put aside the money. No one's going to get rich off of $25 a paycheck, $50 a paycheck. No, you're not going to get rich off of doing that. But what you're going to do is build up the habit to be able to be more successful when it comes to saving. And when we build up habits, this happens with anything in life. Okay. So you might be watching this video and you're like, man, I suck at personal finances. I suck with whatever. But there's probably 1 or 2 or 5 things that you're actually pretty good at. And you didn't just get good at those things. You built up a habit, right? So if like you're like amazing at your job, you weren't amazing at your job in the first day. If you're amazing at pickleball, like I don't know, maybe you got lucky and picked it up and just started smoking everyone, but you probably like it and you probably practice it a lot and you probably built up a habit, right? So the same thing applies here. It's like the same framework. You just build up a habit. What do they say? Habits built in, is it 30 days? I got to look that up because I keep saying, I don't know what it is. And I keep using this as a reference, but then I don't know what the answer is. But anyway, it's like, it doesn't take many days to build up a habit. And if you guys know, let me know down in the comments. I'll read it in the next live stream. And yeah, I think, yeah. Even when I tell the people that I work with, like, hey, so this person that I was working with, he got paid weekly, and I was like, save $25 a week. And he looked at me like, he's like, what is that gonna do? And I was like, well, how much money in savings do you have? He's like, okay, you got me, fair point, right? And he took that to heart. That was not me being mean to him or anything like that, but. So that's something to think about. Let me know what you guys think on that thought process. Again, this works for any financial goal. I'm just using sort of saving as the Trojan horse here to try to get the metaphor across to you. But if you're trying to save more money, pay off debt, if you're trying to put more money towards kids' education, you're trying to invest for your future, like it all comes down to like paying yourself first. So get paid and then shove the money somewhere else. And you just don't look at it. And now you have, $50 less a paycheck, $25 less for that week. And you gotta figure it out another way. We have to realign. Okay. Another reason why I think a lot of people can't save more money is there's so many distractions in this world today. There's so many money distractions, especially. There's so many like the shiny object syndrome is insane, especially if you just scroll social media for any length of time. You're going to see a lot of people that are flashing money around or have this cool thing or they have this awesome like business idea that make it seem so easy, right? And then you jump into it, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing at all. And this is very hard now, right? And it's like there's always things that are going to be easier for everyone, right? So I think I'm guilty of this too. I'm trying to find ways to like, how do I stop distracting myself from all the things that I want to maybe do inside my community or do in my business or in my personal finances, right? And that's why, again, I think this daily habit's really going to help me just really hone in on like the most important thing. So for me, it's like giving back to you guys watching this. So that's why I'm going to lead with, let me just pull this back up here. lead with the YouTube comments, like give back to you guys immediately. So if any of you leave a comment or anything like that, or a question or a concern, or even hate mail, I'll read hate mail. um, and then talk about what's going on in the community. And then right now, since there's not a lot of YouTube comments or anything like that, I'm talking about things that are on my mind. But I'm hoping at some point I'm going to get so many YouTube comments that the whole video is just going to be this, and then we're going to talk about this at the end or something like that. But that's what's important to me. So that's why I'm trying to give back. And I'm doing all this. I'm doing all this for you guys because at the end of the day, like I think that all the information is out there. So we all know what to do, but it's more like, okay, how to do it. And then the accountability piece of it, I think is probably the most important, right? Because you can Google how to save more money. You can go into like ChatGPT and say like, okay, here are my, I'm going to dump in all of my expenses. Here's how much I make. Help me find a way to save an extra $100 a month. Like you could do all these things and it could help you. But I think like the accountability is probably the biggest thing. And that's something that is very big inside of the community. There's a lot of accountability, including that weekly post. It's just a silly weekly post, but I think it actually really helps people. We have the free calls. And then again, like people that want to move a little faster, they sign up to work with me or whatever. But yeah, I think distractions is big. I think the money distractions, to get back to that point where if you were to put all your money into one thing, let me say it differently because I know this is like a personal finance channel. I don't want it to be misconstrued for me saying like, hey, put all your money in one area or whatever. And I don't talk about like investing really or anything like that on this channel. But so think about it like this. If you had all these goals and you put $50 towards each of those goals. So let's say you had 10 goals, 10 financial goals. You put $50 a month towards each of them. Okay. That's $500. Did I do the math right? Yes. Sorry, it's late. And because you want to like touch everything. It's like, oh, I want to put some money into like, oh, football season's coming up. I got to put money in my sports book. Oh, crypto. Oh, I got to invest in this thing, whatever, right? Whatever. I got to save more money. But imagine if you put that $500 into just a thing, meaning like you saved $500 instead of you saved $50. You know what I mean? It's just very powerful to focus all of your energy and attention onto one thing. Typically, that's what I recommend, like one financial goal at a time. Now, if you're someone that's paying off debt and doesn't necessarily have an emergency fund, what I would do first is I would look back at all of your expenses over the last 3, 6+ months, whatever. Figure out all the unexpected expenses that popped up, and then get like, okay, what's the highest number? Or like kind of what's the dollar amount that would cover basically most of my unexpected expenses, right? So if you look back and you're like, oh, okay, I had $100 one here, 500 here, $1,500 here, and 1,000 here. It's like, okay, maybe I just need to like get $1,000, $1,200, and that's going to cover most things. Now, again, if that $1,500 thing happens again, yeah, we might be in a little bit of trouble. But like, you have to kind of think like, what would get me by most things? And again, remember, most Americans don't have $1,000. So if you were to get $1,000, build that up over a couple months, you're already that's basically average in this this country. Okay. So just think about it like that. It's like, okay, go from where you are to like the median, the middle, and then how do we expand from there? So once you have the emergency fund and all that, then we focus on paying off the debt. Once you have a little cushion, then you go harder on the debt, etc. So anyway, yeah, that's this quick little live stream. So just to recap here, I am building Dollar Discipline University in public. Make sure to leave your YouTube comments or anything like that below any videos or questions, comments about, I don't know, budgeting, personal finance, saving, paying off debt, a mindset thing, a challenge that you're having, anything. I am doing this every single day to give back to you guys. And so it would be a lot better if I was answering your comments instead of me just jibber jabbing up here. We went through the community, and I talked about the real reason why we can't save more money. Yeah, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.